The course of the Class 3 Armourer takes you through usually the main weapon systems that the British Army use, such as SA80, Glock, UGL, Sharpshooter and GMG. So what I've got here is I've got the trigger mechanism and the bolt of the GMG. The cock and handle, which is this part here that goes all the way through, the recoil springs and the washer. I've always wanted to be an armourer since I think I was about 12. I used to talk to Royal Marines quite a bit, and they sort of steered me in the direction of joining the army and joining as an armourer. If a weapon goes down, then that can be someone's life in your hands. I quite like the GMG just because it's complexly simple, if that makes sense. So it looks difficult, but it's actually really easy in the way it comes together.
I'm here to talk to you through the L115 Alpha 3 sniper rifle. This is what most of the army will be using, and today I'm going to be talking to you through a barrel change. So what we do is, we take this socket here, and it goes onto the square part here of the extension here. We use this part because there's more purchase here and it allows you to get more torque through it. And this weapon fires a really big bullet. So for example here you'll see it fires a pure magnum round. There's a lot of force going through it, through the barrel, and if you didn't have it torqued up to the set we have, one, you risk the barrel coming off as you fire it, or you can even risk a breech explosion, which is you hurting the person that you're trying to support. We then take this breaker bar and we put it in the socket here at the rear. We push up and push down at the same time, because if you don't do that, you'll see here that this lifts up, and that's not putting the torque through the barrel that we need it to go through. We need it to go through here, this part here. So you push down and you push up at the same time, bit of force, you break through. For myself, I've always been hands-on. I used to work in B&Q before I joined the army, and it was a bit of a life decision. I was getting to the 27 years old, and I thought to myself, well, doors are closing to me. I figured I better join now while I can, and I have all the doors open to me. So I went and did the assessment centre, and seen the Armourer was an option for myself, and I initially joined up as a chef, and found that I quite enjoyed working on firearms. At this point now we take the barrel off. The reason why we do it in this position here, in this orientation, is so that the threads don't get damaged when you take it off. Use a bit of imagination here and think this is a brand new barrel with an inspect for purpose, make sure it's okay. We're looking for proof stamps, looking for serial numbers on the thing. We're going to be looking to make sure that there's no damage to the outside or the inside. To do that, you normally hold it up high like so. Preferably natural light, but also you can use this stand behind us to put the barrel into. Like this. But you'd also use a light, and you use these wheels to rotate it round. And you're looking for shadows inside to make sure the shadows go straight and not left or right. If they were left or right, it would signify that this is bent, and it could be a new store's reject to that point. But for this purpose right now, we're going to pretend it's a new barrel. Now, we've got our new barrel, we've got our body, we're now going to put the barrel back on. Again, the same orientation to prevent the damage occurring to the threads. We don't just go straight in with it. We rotate it to anti-clockwise to find the threads and seat it properly so we don't cause any damage. If you can hear it, you'll hear a metallic click. If you can't hear it, you'll feel it, and it'll be a slight thud, a little bump. And that's it there. So we've now got that hand type. We're going to take this torque wrench now set to 163 Newton meters, and we're going to now insert it in the socket. Now going the opposite direction as before, we're now going to go down the way for a clear audible click, supporting this point again, because we want to get the torque going through the barrel. And that's our click. The reason why we torque it up again is because if you don't have it torqued, this area here, right, or even the other end here where the bolt would sit, you can lead to a breech explosion. If you end up with a breech explosion, you're harming the person that you're trying to help support. You also risk the barrel coming off. Someone walking with the barrel, just marching somewhere, could have this unravel when they wouldn't even notice that this has turned silver because the threads are now exposed. And that could then lead to the barrel falling off in the middle of a march.
So I actually originally wanted to be a dog handler, And from there, I literally grew more and more interested with the weapon systems that we was holding every single day. And from there, I had a one-to-one chat with someone in the REME and just fell in love, and I haven't looked back. We mainly look at the working parts and things like that. So as for ammunition and things like that, we rarely touch, or we just know the caliber and what it should look like when it fires properly. These we call them drill rounds, so we can put them into the magazine, and when it's seated properly, to see if it's seated properly, because then there's a spring in here. If it's distorted, it won't sit properly, and then when it's in the chamber, it won't get picked up by the bolt and be located into the...
So these guns have been purposefully had faults put on them, and we've just got to try find them. So what we're doing now, we're checking all the rivets. So as you can see, rivets on there, rivets on the side of the gun, either side, making sure none of them are loose, or none of them are too loose. We need it at 8 thou, so 8 thousandths of an inch. So what we can then do, so on the front of the gun, front side of the gun, on these ones, not allowed to be any rivets loose. So we check the rivets, just make sure, see if they're loose, and then go around, just check them, running the feeler gauge round. None of them are loose, which is good. But at the rear of the gun here, these rivets, we're allowed them loose, but not to exceed the feeler gauge, 8 thousandths of an inch. So as we can see here, this one is catching a little bit. We go along, just testing all of them, making sure none of them are loose, too loose. This is the buffer housing. So this is the piston buffer, which slides in the back. It goes in, and as you can see there, it comes out there as a hook. And conveniently, this is another hook that perfectly hooked onto there. And this is the barrel extension. So when we fit the barrel, which is under here, so when we fit the barrel, it slides in. So you can see the teeth on there. Nicely fits in on the teeth on there. And then when they're rotated, it's locked in place. Comes off. So that's the barrel extension. And then we've got the back plate, which inside of this bit here is a whole load of little discs, and it acts as a buffer. So we've got the anvil here, and what happens is the bolt, the weapon, which is this bit, the rear of it, when it shoots, the rear of it engages on that, and that's what takes all the recoil of the bolt. Whereas of the barrel extension, what takes the recoil is the piston buffer, this spring. So yeah, it's quite a nice couple of parts, important parts to make the gun fire. The smaller the gun, the more delicate you have to be. The bigger the gun, the more you can hit them. You can hit the 50 cal quite hard, and it just won't break. Nothing will break on this unless it like gets hit really hard by, like, say it gets ran over by a tank, Charlie 2 or something. But otherwise, hit this with a hammer, drifts, it won't break. Whereas if, say, you got a pistol, you have to be really delicate, light taps to make sure everything comes out and don't break. I think I'm quite happy doing this for my whole career. Maybe later on might change and go on to a different trade, but I'll be happy to sit with doing an armourer for the rest of my career.